So what's the ego, right? And the ego is really important for you to know, because the ego is that little voice that is in your mind. Welcome back to Imparables. My name is Jose Miguel Taramona, and this is your favorite podcast where we check everything that you need to know as a business owner, entrepreneur, salesman, immigrant that wants to make it up here in the United States of America. But today we have a really interesting topic that I wish I knew long time before when I started being an entrepreneur. So we'll talk about what are the signs of that voice in your head that's called the ego. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and all our podcasts. We are there in podcast Spotify, where you can listen and hear this podcast from your car. Let's start. So what's the ego, right? And the ego is really important for you to know, because the ego is that little voice that is in your mind that tells you no, not to do this, so yes, do this, right? Everybody have a little voice in their mind, and that is the ego. Now we have to understand what is the purpose of our ego. And the purpose of our ego is to be there to protect us from what we consider is a threat, or to protect us from what we consider is something that is going to cause us pain. Right? If you think about it, how you are, your personality, your psychology runs in a make-up of four important elements, which is your code, which is your story, your belief, your values, and your values are your motivation, and that creates your personality. So that's like, that code is like your software. So the ego is the virus, is what comes to you in the moments in which you are there to technically be protected. The problem is when your ego is there to be protected from the really things that you really need. And I want to talk about this because as a business owner, we don't listen to ourselves, and we listen to our ego. And it's very important that you understand what are the signs of the ego, so you can understand and recognize if who is there in that situation, in that stressful situation, is you or is your ego. What are the signs of the ego? There are 8 signs that I can recognize, between 7 and 8 eyes that we can recognize about the ego. Is blame, distortion, deflection, attack, defense. Suffering is another sign of the ego. One more, demonstration, right? And judgment. And will say comparison. So let's go from one and each one for you to understand when is that present. What is blame? It's like when you're being attacked, or somebody's telling you something and you start blaming that person, but you are who did that, that's why I did that. You are who did that. He is who's doing that. And you start blaming anybody but you. So have you ever seen doing yourself that? Ask yourself, is that your ego who's running into your brain and making you say that? Denial. What is denial? When you say, no, I didn't do it. Or this is not for me. Or no, you're in the situation in which something is happening just really bad, and you don't want to see what is in front of you because it causes you pain. That's denial. Deflection. Deflection is when somebody, have you ever had that person that always changes the subject when something is not good for them? Like you are telling him that something, maybe to your partner. Hey, you never pick up your socks from the couch. And he's like, oh my God, you have a beautiful hair. That is deflection. Then we have comparison. Right? When one of your co-workers, your teammate, or your talent tells you, but why do you tell me if Andrea did it the same way? That's comparison, right? That's another sign on the ego. Defense. Oh, of course, I did it because she did it to me, right? Or I did it because I needed to do something for me. That's defense. Attack is when somebody is trying to attack you, you're attacking you back. Oh, you tell me that I did this, but you didn't present the project at the same time, right? So you're attacking somebody because you are like this, like that, and like that. So we have attack in there. Comparison, suffering, when all the time you want to be the victim. That's pretty obvious. That's a sign of the ego too. Judgment, right? Judgment all the time. Oh, she's doing that because she didn't respect people. Or look at that person, how they look, or how do they present, or how do they work. You know, that judgmental comes from belief that the ego is trying to impose. And remember, when we judge somebody, it's not about judging the other person. It's a judge. When you're judging something that you don't like about you, in order to call it somebody else, because it's much easier. So be completely aware of these signs of the ego, because it plays in every time that you feel in. When the ego is in there, you cannot be you cannot make decisions, you are reacting. You are listening to react, you're not listening to actually have a coherent conversation or discussion. And the ego plays more when conflicts exist. You know, number one reason, number one characteristic of a leader in a conflict is to be able to deal with it. If you are a leader, you're going to have conflict and you have to learn to deal with it. So let's check out where our ego is and if our ego is present or not. Right? When we're in high emotions, our ego always are there and then we cannot think about it. So check these 8 symptoms or 8 signs of the ego and check if this is serving you or not serving you. Now, once we have the ego, what is the best way to actually combat the ego? And you know, one of the best things is to recognize the ego, is to recognize that he's there, or it is there, or she is there, however you call it, right? The voice that is in there said, hey, I am here. I am not playing this game anymore. Thank you for trying to protect me. I will make the decision. Recognize that the ego is there. And then for many people that have done it for so long, you recognize them instinctively, right? When somebody's attacking me and I want to defend, I just stop myself. I was like, I want to listen because there's something through in this conflict that have to be, that I'm making feel or that I'm contributing to. And once you put in that place of being completely neutral and you can answer according of what you feel could be true or not without your ego involved, right? I think it's very powerful. And you will earn a lot of respect, right? As a business owner, you have to, you don't have to like everybody. Everybody won't like you. But everybody might or need to respect you at some point. And if you get your emotions blow off and your ego is talking all the time because you feel attacked or people don't do it your way, right? You won't have effective communication, and the respect that you should imply to them will be a challenge, right? So remember, recognize the ego. Tell the ego, hey, I understand you are there. I understand you're here to protect me. I'm not gonna play this game. I don't need you anymore. Let me be me. And that's it. And keep going, keep going, keep going. Every time that situation comes, step down, breathe. Every time the situation comes that you're gonna respond immediately, you haven't thought about it. And most likely your ego is the one who's answering. So be completely conscious and tell the ego that you are recognizing, you know they're there, that he's there or it is there to protect you, but you're not playing the game anymore. And you are going to control what is going to come out of your conversation or out of your thoughts. Pretty interesting, because here at Ludus Mastery, we work a lot about the ego and in the conversations that we have. When we give feedback, we ask if we can give feedback. When we talk to each other, always trying to be really heart-centered and really conscious of what the other person is saying and what the belief that comes behind it is taking place in order to have that communication. So one of the things that we were the first thing in Ludus Master with the business owners, and you can see it in our website is about mindset. One of the 5 pillars of business that we actually work is in mindset, and how to recognize the ego, how to control this this huge topic or subject or concept that we all have, that we, and many times it have not served us. Because the first part to change in a way that you want to change your company, and the way that you want to evolve your company, evolve yourself or grow yourself, to change your mindset. And you have heard that many times. But if you don't recognize what is holding you back from where you are, from where you want to be to where you want to be, it's gonna be completely pointless, all the other things that you're trying to do to actually accomplish that. So look at where you are, what is holding you back, and most likely it could be your own self, your ego, that is in the middle between you and that. So I hope you like this episode. Please subscribe, turn on the bell, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next episode of Imparables.